In the today's topic, we'll see like how we can install the latest version of Visual Studio, that is 2026. So let's go to the Chrome browser, and in the Chrome browser, let's try to add Visual Studio. So we'll go to the official website. So this is the official website of Visual Studio where you can find the download buttons. So as soon as we go to the downloads button, you can see the little bit detail about the Visual Studio 2026, having three editions. First is community, second is professional, third is enterprise. So as we wanted to, use this Visual Studio ID as a free, so we should go ahead with the community version. So let's click on the free download button. As soon as we clicked on the free download button, the download will start automatically. You can find this download progress is top right corner of Google Chrome browser. So let's wait. The Visual Studio setup is getting downloaded successfully. So the size of the Visual Studio setup is 5.5 MB. So as you can see, the setup has been downloaded successfully. Now let's go to the downloads folder. The Visual Studio installer UI, where we have selected this option, that is ASP.NET and web development, then desktop development in the workload section. So if you go to the right hand side, we can see the individual components. What are the components going to be installed while installing the Visual Studio code? And in the bottom right corner, you can see the size, total space this Visual Studio setup is going to take of our system space. So here you can find like we are going to install .NET 9, .NET 10, right? There are multiple versions also. So whatever is required, we are installing. So let's try like we have selected the desktop application also, but I think it is not required. So let's try to remove it and let's just check what are the tools we have selected. It is as per the need or not. So where you can find like GitHub Copilot is by default, and yeah, .NET 10, .NET 9, .NET 8 is not selected, but .NET 9 and .NET 8 we have selected. On the left bottom left corner, where you can find the location where our Visual Studio code or Visual Studio software is going to be installed, and this is the space. So 15.85 GB is going to take, and I have selected the option that is install while downloading. So let's click on install, and let's wait the soft Visual Studio Community 2026 to be installed in our machine. Yes, so like on the top end, it is downloading and verify, and in the below section, it is installing parallelly. So downloading and installation is going parallelly. As you remember, we have selected both the option, download and install. So it's like 1.64 GB is being downloaded, and the 11 percentage of installation is being completed. So let's wait for getting installed completely the Visual Studio software. The setup download is completed successfully. Now the installation is pending. So as you can see, the installation is also 50% is completed, and I haven't selected this option, that is start after the installation. So 50% installation is also completed, and let's wait for remaining 50% installation completed, and where you can see like all installations are up to date. We have received this toaster message from the Visual Studio installer setup. Now it's time to launch the Visual Studio Community 2026. So now let's try to launch the application, how it looks. And now let's skip and add the accounts later. And now we'll select the dark mode. It is always better for eye and for coding also. And now let's the Visual Studios get opened, and we'll see how it looks, because this is the latest Visual Studio software, the latest version of Visual Studio software, that is 2026. For startup page of Visual Studio 2026, startup page or startup screen looks like, where you can find the multiple option here, that is clone repository, open a project solution, or create a new project. So, or there is one more option, that is continue without code. So let's try to create a new project, that is basic, .NET Core Web API project. We'll try to create it, and we'll see how it works. So here in the top bottom right bottom corner, you can find the scroll bar, and I have selected the ASP.NET Core Web project. Now let's create a next project, and now let's select the appropriate folder location. So let's go to go to videos, .NET, and let's select folder. Now let's give the project name, that is .NET 10 sample project. And now let's click on next, and you can see the framework version, that is .NET 10. But if you remember, we have installed the .NET 8 and .NET 9 version also. So now let's try to create the project in .NET 8 version only. Configure HTTPS, keep it selected only. And now let's create the application or create the project. It will take some time to install all the necessary libraries and dependencies to create the basic boilerplate code of .NET Core 10. As you can see, the Copilot was integrated by default, and the UI is much more easier and much more user friendly compared to the older versions of .NET, where you can find the controllers. The weather focus controller is the default controller. Okay. Now let's try to open the weather focus controller. Where we'll get to know the endpoint. So as you can see, this is the endpoint, and this is the program.cs, where you can find all the configuration, dependencies, middlewares here, register here. And now let's try to run the .NET Core application, where we are expecting the Swagger API or Swagger UI to see the endpoints, whatever endpoints we have in the controller. So all the endpoints will be listed in the Swagger UI. So it will take some time to build the application, and then it will start running the Swagger UI. We have already started application to run. So let's go to the output window, where you can see our port is listening, like our basic code or JSON code has been deployed to this port, but we're not able to get the Swagger page. So in the .NET 10, if you go to the program.cs, where we cannot find the Swagger middleware has been added by default here. So we have to keep some changes to enable the Swagger. So we'll have to add first the Swagger configuration. Let me try to add. So as I have mentioned, like there are few configurations that we have to make into the .NET Core 10 API. So the Swagger is not by default enabled. So in the program.cs, I have added this middleware, where Swagger UI can be rendered in this URL, and this is the page name. Second, in the launch setting, previously it was the launch browser was false in both HTTP and HTTPS. So I can make it as true, and then I have configured one more property, that is launch URL Swagger. This is the main configuration we have to make into the launch setting.json. And the last one is, like, we'll have to install one NuGet package to run the to use the middleware of Swagger, that is swashbuckle.asp.NET Core. So this three basic configuration we have to do in the .NET Core 10 app. So now let's try to run the application from Visual Studio, and we'll see whether we can see the Swagger page or not. So as you can see, the Swagger page has been loaded, and this is the definition, where you can find the my API, which we have given the name in the Swagger configuration in program.cs. where server name, like what kind of a port it was mentioned here. And this is the default endpoint where we can, as soon as we execute, we'll get the result about the weather forecast. So as you can see, a .NET Core or .NET 10 app is running successfully.